Donald Trump has just taken a serious political hit in his fight with Canada. In a rare public break, the U.S. House of Representatives voted to move ahead with repealing his tariffs on Canadian goods. 6 Republicans joined Democrats to undo the very policy Trump used to pressure Ottawa and shake Canada's economy. That vote sent a loud message. The strategy of confrontation and constant crisis isn't landing the way it used to. Even members of his own party are stepping back. Trump reacted quickly and angrily, accusing Canada of taking advantage of the United States and warning Republicans who didn't support him. But this time, the threats didn't change the result. This wasn't just another bump in the road. It was a direct challenge to his authority and his trade agenda, and one of the clearest signs yet that his pressure campaign is losing steam. Welcome back to Capital Insight. Let's break down what this really means. The House vote wasn't symbolic. It was bipartisan and deliberate. Lawmakers looked at the economic impact, listened to businesses and consumers, and decided that tariffs were doing more harm than good. And the most significant part? It wasn't Democrats who delivered the blow. It was Republicans.
News now from south of the border and some breaking news that we are tracking. The U.S. House has voted against U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs on Canada. 6 Republicans joined Democrats pushing against the levies Trump slapped on Canada based on his so-called fentanyl emergency at the border. Trump quickly taking to social media, saying Canada is the worst in the world to deal with, especially as it relates to the border, adding that it has taken advantage of the U.S. for many years.
6 GOP members crossed party lines despite public pressure from Trump. For years, his influence has rested on party discipline, loyalty rewarded, dissent punished. But on this issue, some Republicans chose economic reality over political fear. His response showed clear frustration. Instead of adjusting course or working with Congress, he lashed out at Canada and at members of his own party. When leaders lean on threats instead of persuasion, it often signals slipping control. Opposition isn't limited to the House. Republican senators, including Lisa Murkowski and Mitch McConnell, have signaled support for repeal. That means resistance in both chambers. Even if Trump vetoes the bill, the political damage is done. Party unity on trade is no longer guaranteed. At the center of this shift is a basic economic truth. Tariffs are paid by American importers, businesses, and consumers. Prices rose, supply chains tightened.
It's always interesting to read the reactions that come in immediately after developments like that. But let's talk about what happened in the House. We understand some Republicans joining hands with Democrats to pass this bill in a rebuke to Trump's trade policies. Tell us more.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, the procedural vote that took place earlier that would actually allow this vote on this legislation by House Democrats only received 3 votes. But what we see here, this actual vote to repeal the tariffs got 6 Republicans to join with Democrats to move this through the House, and now it goes before the Senate. Now, President Donald Trump certainly was not happy with the outcome. In fact, in that Truth Social post, he made clear that any Republican that actually stood against him on this issue regarding tariffs, they would have consequences come election time, he said, including primaries. So what we're seeing here right now is President Donald Trump is attempting to create more of a roadblock for Republicans, as we're now beginning to see some Republicans are beginning to move away from the president, particularly on the Epstein issue, as well as now on tariffs as it relates to Canada.
Companies felt the strain. Over time, voters noticed and lawmakers responded. This wasn't ideological. It was practical. Meanwhile, Canada's response has been steady. Leaders like Ontario Premier Doug Ford kept their tone calm and focused on cooperation. No dramatic counterattacks, just measured diplomacy. Under Prime Minister Mark Carney, Canada has worked to broaden trade ties beyond the United States, strengthen global partnerships, and reduce economic vulnerability.
Yeah, more threats, of course, being issued by the president to his own. But let me ask you about the process ahead. You did say that this will go to the Senate and then eventually to the president's desk. So, I mean, we know what will happen when it goes to the president's desk, but let's talk about the procedure within the Senate.
Yeah, this goes before the Senate, and already we know that a number of Republicans have already made clear that they are prepared to vote for this legislation as well. We know Senator Lisa Murkowski.
Where Trump applied pressure, Canada built flexibility. Where he tried to create leverage, Canada created options. This vote is more than a policy shift. It's a political signal. It shows that confrontation has limits, that allies push back, and that economic consequences eventually shape political decisions. Trump set out to pressure Canada. Instead, he's facing pushback at home. If you appreciate clear, fact-focused analysis on Canadian politics and global affairs, subscribe to Capital Insight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.